play a beautiful game, but sometimes you still lose.
I'm going to keep this video very short because I only want to hit a few points. I want to hit the things that I hate, the things that I like, and the things that I would like to see done better. So last night I finished WatchDogs Legion, and I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the gameplay, I enjoyed the story, all throughout the 34 hours that I played. The mission statement for this game, where you can go on the street and pick up anybody and recruit them and play as them throughout the entire game, still fits through. You can actually do it all. There is no hindrance on it whatsoever. The city of London is very well done, very detailed, and very fun to explore. The story, albeit a little bit short and a little rushed at the end, was very fun to enjoy and very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I would absolutely go back and give it a second playthrough. And now on to the things that I don't exactly like about the game. And the first and obvious thing to me comes from Ubisoft's direction when it comes to character conversation and dialogue. And if you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the recycled animation when you're talking to an NPC out in the open world. It's the mouth movements that don't match up with the voice acting lines. It just doesn't fit. And you see that in Legion and very much in Valhalla. And it's just a very gross thing. And I understand that it cuts down on development time so they can focus more on other gameplay aspects. But to me, it doesn't seem well done. It's not good. I would understand that more in a game like Mass Effect or I guess The Witcher or something like Skyrim or Fallout, but Watch Dogs, no. In the first Watch Dogs and the second Watch Dogs, every single game, every single conversation had a rendered cutscene. In Watch Dogs Legion, you see those rendered cutscenes a little bit. You see them go back and forth because you're cutting between that, and I understand that because you have your own different character. They have different animations, they move differently, which is interesting to me too, because they actually have different animations depending on the different characters you got, which is intuitive, but it just doesn't fit in the Watch Dogs franchise. And you can very much tell that the team that worked on Watch Dogs Legion isn't the same team that worked on Watch Dogs 2 for many reasons, and one of them being the sprint functionality. In Watch Dogs 1, when you ran, say if you had an Xbox controller and you're playing this on Xbox, the right trigger would be your sprint. Same as like in Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4 and 2 and, so on. But in Watch Dogs 2, it was the joystick to sprint, to move and sprint, and that was also in Odyssey. But now, in Watch Dogs Legion, it's back to the right trigger, which makes no sense, but I guess so? Because now the joystick is used to toggle crouch, which is fine, I guess. Like, you can toggle crouch that way, but you could also just toggle crouch with B? I don't know. That seems a better way to do it, but it means nothing to me. I played it, it's fine. It has no hindrance on the gameplay whatsoever. The next thing that I have to talk about is the worst that I've ever seen in Watch Dogs, and it doesn't hinder the gameplay, but it just makes me mad because they spent time doing this when they shouldn't have done it, and that is microtransactions. Yep, there are microtransactions in a single player game. And we saw this in Odyssey and in Origins, where you have Helix credits or whatever to buy cosmetics in the game or different characters or whatever. And it shows, and it's very much here in Legion, and I hate it. One, because again, it doesn't fit the Watch Dogs franchise. There's no reason to do microtransactions in Watch Dogs specifically when it's just a single player game for the moment and online functionality hasn't been included yet. But it's also completely useless. It's very useless. The only thing that you would want to do is if you really wanted the characters that they give you, because nothing else is important to it. In the store description for it, it says use these credits to purchase extra cosmetic items, in-game currency, resources, operatives, and more. And it can't be any more useless, and it's overpriced for no goddamn reason. First off, it's 7,250 credits, and that's $50. That is $50. US dollars, it's 50 US dollars. It is so unbelievably useless to me. Because, first off, extra cosmetic items. No, you don't need extra cosmetic items because you're barely going to use them. I guarantee you're barely going to use them. In-game currency is found literally everywhere around the map. You even zoom in just a little bit, you're finding like 100 different bits to find currency. You are not lost for currency, and you get money after doing missions too. Resources, it's nothing important. There's no resources. There are no resources. It's like you get one thing unlocked in the map. Oh, there you go. You know where this is. And operatives? it really does defeat the purpose of the game when you're giving out DLC operatives that ultimately don't really matter. They're not cool in the story anyway. The only operative that I think really matters, because that is actually coming with a story, is Aiden Pierce and Wrench whenever they're done with that, because that's interesting. But these guys, they don't know. They're just tossed into your game immediately. You don't have to recruit them. They're already recruited. It defeats the purpose of actually you going out and getting the recruits yourself. So it's stupid. It really is kind of stupid. It's almost worse than EA in this situation, because in EA games, they have the same thing, but it's for their online functions. But for Ubisoft, it's in their single player. The stuff that you can find regardless. You can cheat the game if you wanted to. You could literally just like download Cheat Engine or download a save, and there you go. You have almost everything unlocked. It's useless. There's no point in doing it. Now, what they could have done was, instead of a month delay, which is what they gave it, they could have extended it to 2 or 3 months, and I would have been sad. I would have been sad. Oh, we're not getting Watch Dogs Legion this year? I would understand. There's a pandemic going on. People are dying, man. That way they could have focused on giving it more time, giving it the attention it deserved, instead of just tossing it out half-baked and fixing it along the way. Because they are fixing it along the way. They're not keeping it dead. This isn't Mass Effect Andromeda. It is a Mass Effect Andromeda. And I've seen around that, oh, this is going to spark the end of Watch Dogs. We're never going to see another Watch Dogs game again. No, that's not how gaming works. That's not how game companies work. The first Watch Dogs, when that came out, was a massive disappointment to people. I enjoyed it. I was part of the 1 or 2 or 3% that actually enjoyed it. But it still sparked a sequel that did very well. It did very well, that they continued to add upon the game as the game was out. It went from 2 to 4 player co-op, and it was fun. The only thing I really have to say about Watch Dogs Legion is don't buy it yet if you haven't already. The game will probably get better in like 2 or 3 months when they've actually focused the time and energy on fixing the game itself. I've played through the game broken as is. In 2 or 3 months I'll go back and do another playthrough when it's actually fixed with a little bit more content. Until then, it's currently not a playable game. I would very much tell you to wait on buying the game. It's fun, it's an enjoyable game, but please wait and save your money.